So I just got out of seeing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, and my god, Tom Cruise, I am starting to believe, man, you might just be the greatest film person alive today. Because this movie is, I knew going in it was going to be great. It was going to be phenomenal because Mission Impossible, the entire franchise, especially the last 3 movies, have just been mind-blowing. But oh my god, this movie just blew away my expectations. Before I get started, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more, as well as turn on notifications. So Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is obviously, by the title, a part 1 of a 2-part Mission Impossible story. It is also the 7th film in this series, a series that pretty much since the 4th film has been unmatchable when it comes to action movies. There just really isn't anything like it. Movies like Fast and the Furious and even John Wick have tried to match the action genre level that this franchise brings, but it has just not come anywhere close. This is by far the best action franchise in Hollywood today, and oh my god, this one might be the best one. So this movie obviously stars Tom Cruise, back as Ethan Hunt. Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames also return as Luther and Benji, both amazing characters who have great moments in this film. Rebecca Ferguson also returns. She is having an amazing year, one of my favorite actresses. Vanessa Kirby is also back from the last movie. And then you also have newcomers Haley Atwell, who plays Grace, I'll have more on her in a second, as well as Issei Morales, who plays Gabriel, the villain. Now, it's really hard to talk about this film because, like, I don't want to spoil anything. I went into this movie almost completely blind, and the trailers did a pretty good job of really just focusing on the action and not delving deep into, like, what the actual plot is. If you're going into this movie thinking this is going to be just another generic Mission Impossible movie where there's some evil spy group that wants to set off a nuke and they have to take him down, like, that's kind of what I was expecting, and that is not that's not this at all. This is a very, very unique story that's set in this universe, and one that's actually very relevant to our times now, which is crazy because when this was written back in 2018 and 2019, I'm not so sure that it was as relevant then. But oh my god, this story fit perfectly with today's themes. The overall threat of this movie is actually threatening, and it is something that is mysterious and dark and shady, and I don't want to spoil anything about it, but once you understand what it is and all the central characters that are surrounding this center force, it makes the movie so much fun to follow. And the movie is chaotic in the best way possible. I mean, there is so much going on. There is just constantly so much going on. There are so many different groups, so many different characters to follow, and throughout early parts of the first act, it was a little bit overwhelming, and I thought, man, this is kind of getting a little messy, but, once you get to that second and the third act and you really start to understand who everybody is, where they're coming from, what their goals are, the mysterious characters, all this stuff that's going on, you really start to just fall in love with this plot and this world again, like it's the old movies, and it's just so great. And of course, it's all to serve Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt is such a great character, and he is just the absolute linchpin of this franchise. It does not work without Tom Cruise, and his character is great. He's written well. Obviously, the action is amazing. Issei Morales as Gabriel is amazing. I mean, if you've watched Ozark, you know this guy could play a bad dude. He's so good as Del, and when I heard that he was cast and he was going to be playing a villainous character in this, I got so excited. And his character in this movie, and I don't want to get too into it because it's kind of like spoilery, but his character is so different than any other villain in this franchise, and he's so cool and so dope, and there's still so much more we have to learn about him and, like, his whole side of things in hopefully a part 2, but god, he is such a good character, and the way that he connects to everybody, and also his fight scenes. There is one fight scene that I will not spoil, but it's with him and one of the non-Tom Cruise characters, and it is so good. The movie builds and builds and builds, and there's so many different action set pieces, and that's pretty much what this franchise does, is it sets up these big action set pieces, these big, awesome moments. This film has a few. It has one that's set in an airport that is just so great. Everything, it's hilarious. Some of the comedy that's written in this scene, a lot of the stuff that happens is just really, really great. There's a whole part in, like, Rome or Vienna, I think, or whatever Rome is in Italy, with the Colosseum. Sorry if I'm a little stupid, but there's a whole car chase there, and it's one of the greatest action car chases that I've ever seen in a film. And the film kind of concludes, without spoiling anything, this whole, like, train thing, and it's just so good and so perfectly done. And I don't know if the final action sequence ever really, amounts to the same level of awesomeness that the ending of Mission Impossible Fallout did, with that big helicopter battle between Ethan Hunt and Henry Cavill's character. Like, I don't know if it ever reaches that, but yet again, this is a part 1. This isn't the finale of the story. But the finale sequence is great. It's awesome. You get some great character moments, obviously some good fights, a little bit like a fantastical moments where it's just a little too ridiculous and a little, like, not believable at all, but still very awesome. The practicality of it all, I mean, god, I just don't know what else to say about this movie, that it's just so good. It might be the best movie of the year. Is it better than Spider-Verse? I don't know. I think it might be. Do I have any negatives? I mean, not really, but if I had to nitpick anything, anything, it would just be this. Rebecca Ferguson is one of the best actresses working today. Her character in the last 2 movies is one of the best things going about them, and I just don't think she was given enough to do in this movie. She's there, she has one of the best action sequences, and one of the best fights in maybe the entire series in this movie. I mean, she's awesome in this one fight scene, but her character, I feel like, I feel like there was something that had to be done with the script here. Like, I feel like in earlier versions of the script, there had to be, like, her character probably was not involved whatsoever, and then they decided to involve her character last minute, because she just kind of feels shoehorned in, and she just really doesn't do much, and she comes out of nowhere, and then, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but, like, I don't know, it just all felt a little bit shoehorned. And she is such a powerhouse of an actress that I just kind of wish they gave her character a little bit more. And that brings me to Hayley Atwell, who plays the new lead girl of the group, Grace. And who she is, and her background, and everything, and how she relates to the group, it's all very, very good and very original. It's a lot different than any of the other female characters that have come in from this point. And Hayley Atwell does a phenomenal job. She is really, really great in this movie. I don't entirely see the purpose of pretty much removing Rebecca Ferguson out of that center spot of that female lead and putting in Hayley Atwell and giving her the spotlight. Like, I'm not really sure I completely understood that decision, but I think overall, story-wise, I think it does work in the end. It works well enough that it doesn't take away from the overall plot of this franchise, of this story, and of this 2-part movie. I'm very excited to see where her character goes from this point. But outside of that, I really have no nitpicks. I mean, like, I didn't think it was too long. I mean, like, it is almost 3 hours, but you never really feel it. The movie is exhausting. I mean, like, unlike Spider-Verse, when Spider-Verse ended, I remember being like, I could watch part 2 right now. Genuinely, I don't know if I could watch part 2 of this movie right now. Like, this is exhausting. I need to relax for a little bit. But man, oh man, did Tom Cruise pull it off again. Did Christopher McQuarrie pull it off again. These guys, this duo, are unstoppable. This is by far the best action franchise out there, and I cannot wait to see part 2 next year. I don't know if this movie is going to get as much attention and as much love as Top Gun Maverick got last year, but it 110% should, because this movie is 10 times better than Top Gun Maverick, a movie that was spectacular, and this is 10 times better. This, to me, I think is probably the best movie of the year. I can't believe Oppenheimer comes out next week, and I'm gonna have to watch that and compare it to this. But man, us movie people, us movie fans, we are eating good right now. We are eating damn good, because we have probably the best month of movies in about 5 or 6 years. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Bravo to Tom Cruise. You guys caught another dub. Bravo to everybody behind this movie, and I just absolutely, I mean, June of next year can't come soon enough. Hopefully the writer's strike doesn't push it back any farther, but I cannot wait for part 2, and I cannot wait to see what this franchise does going, hopefully even beyond the next movie. This is an easy 5 out of 5, and I 110% recommend that you get to the theater as fast as possible on this one. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe yet again. Turn on notifications to see more, and I will see you all in the next one.